Hello. Well, I think it's time that you change your life because it's easier than you think. And in this series, we're going to explore how you can make $1 million. It's that easy. It just takes some time, some practice, but it's completely measurable and therefore completely possible. And we're going to teach you this in a respectable manner. And this is the first episode in a multiple series from 1 to who knows how many episodes. But I'll assure you that you're starting here. This is you today in the big 2025. And when you arrive here, you are going to make silly me, come on, $1 million. And you're gonna be happy. This is gonna be you in some time. Now, how are we going to achieve this? Well, we're going to define this in a scientific way, so that we will assure you that it's gonna be 100% certain. We will define this right here, the time that you will become a millionaire, by T2. No, T1. And the time that you are here right now as T0. And what we want to do is we want to get you from T0 to T1. And we define you as X. So in reality, we want to get X from T0 to T1. How are we going to do that? So we're going to use a hyper vortex model with a proposal of 3 Sebicons, and we're going to define the center proposal, which is T1. You can't see it here, but what I'm trying to tell you here is that this is T1. We're going to propose this central proposal as your $1 million. And you are here in this in the beginning. Sorry, this is so right now this is what we're working with. You are here, this is the X here, and this is your end goal here, and we will have to get you through this belief shell here into the core of the truth of your future, which is T1. And we have to look at the center from an angle perspective, and we need to define, if you can see here, we take here a proportion of this spiral. And we define this area here, as the V1. So this right here, this is V1, and it's gonna take you some time to get to the first states of V1, and the distance that you need to go to get to V1, that is the distance D1. Now, how do you measure the, because you, well, let's say you start here, this is the start right now, today, and you want to make it in a direction like this, and then after that you believe it a little bit more, and then after that you believe it a little bit more, and then you believe it a little bit more, and then you believe it a little bit more, until you get the $1 million. And that will expand out back to the start, which will now become the end. This is a model which has been proven time and time again. The belief model, the belief principle. What does the belief principle state? Well, the belief principle well, it states 3 things. The first thing it states is that no one is proven as a model. And what do I mean by that? Well, what is a model in this instance? Well, a model consists of a hypercube with a proportion. And out of that is a spiraling truth. And the model is everything that lies in the box, but nothing that goes out of it, like this right here. Well, most people are here out of the model. Once you get in the model, that's the tipping point. So right here, wait. This point right here is the difference between everything, and everything is EV, and nothing, and T. Right here on this side we have, millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, and the latter half of this, the 1% is in this quarter here. That's the 1%, and the way you do that is you need to get into the belief system. You need to travel all the way here, and then in this track you need to break out of it by another belief cycle into that. And that's when you really can expand out of the model again. But that's something that it's very hard to do, and no one really has done this except a few. But the first rule of the belief principle is that no one is proven as a model, which means that, no one is proven to be able to get in here or stay out. It's totally up to you. So there's nothing predetermined by your existence. Now, the second rule of the belief principle is that everyone is true to them. What do I mean by that? Let's say that this is your existence. Let's call that existence B in the power of C, which is the normal definition of that. And you are in the total existence of the universe. This is you right here, and then you are in the existence in the perception of others around you. We call this S in the power of Z, society, and this is the U in the power of Z, Z. Well, you right here, you're always true to yourself. You always believe what you believe. And everything you see is received from your belief. So everything you believe about first society, you're breaking through the society in the universe, and some dare to go outside of that. That's the critical point of insanity. We won't go in that now, but that's the Yoda. You don't want to do that. Alright? Whatever you do, you don't want to go here. Then what happens is you go in the negative. You go from the plus side of life into the negative. And when that happens, it's called the Yoda. You don't want to do that. But the thing is, everyone is true to them. So when you look outwards from your belief, it's true from your perspective. And especially you are true to yourself. But when others, who are also in society, so this is someone else, when they look at you, in you, they don't necessarily believe you. They do not look at you like this. Well, to them, they have another set of belief, just like you have. And what are you to them? Well, when they look at you, you're just this guy here. And they, more often than not, look past you. They neglect you. They don't think about you. For them, that person is true to himself. But when they look at you, they often cross through your belief. They don't trust you. So it's a crossing. And when that happens, crossing. So this is someone's belief here. And they cross your belief. Well, that's a crossing. That has a negative effect on the synapsism. But we can't go into that now. But that's the second rule of the belief principle. Now the third rule, the most important one of all the rules, is that only one thing holds true for every thing you see. Everything. Well, everything. So let's say you are here, and this is your field of vision, and the further you look, the more you can see. So you need to expand your vision in steps. But only one thing holds true for everything you see. So this is everything you see. There are a lot of things you see in the media, things politicians are saying, things the market is saying. And the politicians, they're often here and this here. So this is Paul. This is the media, that's in the media. And this is your inner circle. So group. Group. And then when you get out of this, you get into outside of the observable. You can't see this clearly. This is some things that can't really see, and yeah. But only one thing holds true for everything you see. So let's say you see something in the political field, and you see that, but you have to look through the media, and often you have to look through the perspective of your family, your friends, your loved ones, and in the media you need to look through the television, your phone, some broadcast. And then you reach the political thing. But the thing is that only one thing holds true for everything you see. So even though you might be told a lot of different truths along the way, there's only one thing that holds true. And you don't know what that is. The thing is, what you need to do is, the more of this you can skip towards your journey to the actual political truth, the more clear your truth will become. So you can draw it like this. You have the first step, the second step, and the third step. This is your vision. And you start here. You need to be able to bypass this and go straight to what you're looking for. If you get stuck in here, you get, someone's telling you this and they tell you that, and you go here, and before you know, your truth is contaminated. You get through this right here, that right here, this TV station, that friend, that news outlet, and then when you reach your destination, it has a very low purity, truth purity, and that's another thing we need to look out for. That's truth purity. So that's the belief principle. Again, the first rule is no one is proven as a model. We explained that here. The second one is everyone is true to them, and the third one is only one thing holds true for everything you see. So these three rules are very important to gain the perfect truth, because you need to gain the perfect truth in order to gain the perfect quantity of monetary value, because the closer you get to the actual truth, you get closer to value, where value is stored, and therefore you get closer to acquiring monetary wealth. And that's the thing, when you look at this spiral here, that they're all trying to hold you in this section right here. So this is the majority of society. We're all stuck here. And when you try to gain the truth, you can't just cross right into it. But that is an illegal crossing. And what will happen here is this is when you commit crimes, or the government is after you for doing something they don't like, or you do something too quick, they spot you before you're able to get in. Well, you need to use the belief principle to be able to get in efficiently. Right here, this is your goal, whatever that is. In our instance, it's to get $1 million, but you can't just cross in here. And what happens then is, it happens to most people, and that's the reason really society keeps everyone from the goals, is that they start when they get in the cycle. Let's say this is the cycle, and they start to enter, but instead of going in and getting sucked in like that and then spiraling out, what happens is they start, but then they try to cut the corner and break, and they don't manage, and they fail. So they either become broke, they become criminals, outlaws, exceptions, so that it doesn't last. So this right here, this is the point of failure. And when they start here, they start to slow down. That is exactly the point of time where they where they try to break in instead of slowly getting in. What we want to see is, instead of a curve like this, we want to see a curve like this. And you see the difference. If you see the difference is, let's look at a successful curve and let's look at an unsuccessful curve. You see that the successful curves often takes way longer than the unsuccessful curve, and the unsuccessful curve peaks before the successful curve even manages to break even or get to the same point as the peak in the unsuccessful curve. But when you break that time, you go into the singularity. And the thing is, when this level breaks, barely anyone gets here because they expect all this. So when you start, you only expect this. When you keep going, you start to expect this. And then before you know, here, exactly where most people fail. This is the point where most people fail. The peak at the failure point. And the most success journeys when people are actually trying is they go like this. And they even go into the negative. And then maybe they recover, but then they try again. So you need to be able to use the belief principle to be able to get in slowly. You can't just expect things to work. And there are a lot of causes to this. So when you're trying to get in, someone tries to tell you something else, to do something else, or course direct you and get you in different directions, and you just end up not getting anywhere, or you get impatient and then you just try to cross it right away. But what you want to do is you want to slowly move until you finally get it, and then you break out, and then there's no stopping you. And you need to look at the belief principle to be able to achieve that, is because no one is proven as a model. So no one is proven to be able to or not be able to before they try. Everyone is a possible failure or success in anything, and everyone is true to them. Everything you believe, it's true to you, and your perspective is true to you, but to others it might be false, and others' perspective might be false to you also. And the third one, only one thing holds true for everything you see. This is the most important, because as I said, truth is the most important currency, and this is maybe the most important section of this. But when you get closer inside the truth, you get closer and closer to what holds most value. And well, the thing is that people, they don't want you to know, so you start to get in, but they tell you to get out. The government doesn't want you to get in here, so they course direct you out of it, like the media. politicians don't want you to know the actual truth, so when you get in here, you get arrested. But if you kind of manage to squeeze in without trouble and without anyone really knowing, and you're not you're trying to bypass all this, you may be able to kind of squeeze in slowly. And that's why the spiral is so important. So when you look at this is where your $1 million are. This is why getting it quickly is very hard. It's because in order to get that, you can't just squeeze in like that. You know, you're gonna get, you know, dumped out again into nothing, a bin. And you need to be able to move slowly, so you enter. You're not asking any questions. You get out maybe for some time, but then you get in again. And before you then know, you're inside in a deeper level, then you get into the third level. You're in the political realm now, and then you get into this, and then you break out again. But then when you get out, you get this, you'll go, and no one will know how, because you're out of it. And when people try to get into the same place you were, they just try to go directly in, but they didn't know you went slowly in. So, you know, you should go in like this. So we have the triangle and the inner triangle. You should go in slowly, get the truth, get back out. And when others see what you have, they try to go get it like this, but get dumped out. No one tells you that this is the case. And the deeper you go, the more connections you need. But no one wants you to have the connections. So this is it for the first episode in this series. I hope this was valuable to you, this information. Remember the belief principle, and well, good luck and take care. This is not an easy journey, but this is the first step in a direction to a more successful future.